Rev up your engines!
Turns out that BMW, Mercedes, and Audi are weighing this solution to their problems because they're all having problems, right? They're thinking about long-term strategies of raising prices and lowering output. Okay, raise the price and lower the output. There'll be less of them out there. They'll be worth more. The reason people aren't buying your cars is because the quality isn't what it used to be. They're overpriced, and the competition is starting to blow them away. Now, this started a long time ago, if you want to look at the history of automobiles. When Toyota decided to make Lexus, they sent these Japanese guys to California for a year. And they realized that Americans wanted a certain car. They wanted a V8 rear-wheel drive luxury car that didn't break down. So they built the Lexus 400. The second year the Lexus 400 was sold in the United States, the second year, it outsold Mercedes, BMW, Audi, Porsche combined. And that's fast, right? So I guess it's taking a while for the Germans to figure this one out, you know? Via's the best. There's no competition for us. Whoa, what's happening? People aren't buying our cars now. Lots of them can charge more for them. What kind of a ridiculous business proposition is that? Have the Germans gone insane? They're living on names alone now. I'll never forget the guy a couple of years ago, the fancy SUV Mercedes that was made in, I believe, Alabama. And he was so mad, he drove the whole way to Rhode Island to show me how bad this car was, that it only had like 15,000 miles. And it had all these engine lights on it they supposedly fixed. And they had to repaint the door. It didn't match. They had to fix the mirror, which they hadn't fixed yet because there were no new mirrors because all the mirrors were made incorrectly. And you could see the welds were sloppy on it. Hey, your quality's going down. You can't keep raising prices. Guess what? You'll sell less of them. You'll make even less money. There's only so many fools out there. They're going to be fooled by your names. BMW, Mercedes, Audi. Well, you know what? In this world today, times are changing, and people are starting to realize, well, those names really don't mean anything. What's quality? What isn't quality? You got to do a little research when you're buying a vehicle. And for most people, numero uno is, how much does this thing cost? And if they raise the price, they'll even have less opportunity to sell these things to people. Now, here's something interesting that the car manufacturers, I guess they don't even know themselves. It turns out that an overwhelming amount of drivers are not using car subscription services. Now, these are car subscription services that are offered by the manufacturer, like GM's OnStar. If you buy the car, you get OnStar, but then after a certain period of time, you got to start paying by the month or by the year for the stuff, right? And if you remember years ago, Mary Barr, the CEO of GM, said, GM's going to be a software company. We're going to make billions selling people subscription services. Well, it turns out that the overwhelming amount of people who have them don't pay for them. If they run out, they don't pay for them. And a survey was done, and almost half of the people didn't even know if their car had such a system. They never used it. They don't care, right? It goes against the American grain, our philosophy, which is you're buying a new car. Right? The average new car is like $46,000. It's a lot of money. You shell out that money. Well, most people don't shell out that money. They put monthly payments. But regardless, they think, hey, I paid $46,000 for this car. Probably with interest and everything, it's more like $60,000. I should be able to use everything in this car forever as long as I own it. Oh no, say the manufacturer, you're going to pay a subscription fee to use this. Well, guess what? It makes Americans fuming mad that they have to pay for something that they've already bought the car. It really infuriates people. Now, it's one thing, you got a computer or something, and you got to pay for Bill Gates' Word software every year, right? Well, it's not all that much money. But imagine if your computer costs $55,000, and then you don't get the subscription with it, and you got to pay extra. You'd be mad as a hornet, right? There was a survey done in 2025 of the state of connected car apps, and they found out that 76% of the participants believed that they aren't subscribed by any connected services. Was based on a survey of 1,000 U.S. drivers, right? I have customers and I ask them. They don't know. They don't use it. They don't know if they have it. And if they found out that they got to pay extra for something they don't use, of course, they don't want to do that, right? They even found out that 40% of these 1,000 people weren't even aware that their car had connected services. Now, I laughed my rear end off on this because connected services that you want, why would you pay a manufacturer? For example, in my own cars. I don't use their connected services. I get Android stuff. Dirt cheap, like my Matrix. I got an Android Pumpkin. I think it cost $140, right? It works phenomenal. My Google Pixel phone goes back and forth. Everything I want is on that thing, and it costs $140 and there's no subscription fee, right? These idiots, the manufacturers, like Mary Barra, think we can just soak those Americans. We'll have subscription services, they'll pay for them. Mary, people don't like this. This study proved that not only don't they like it, half of them don't even know the stuff that they have. So obviously they're not interested in the first place. Well, I gotta laugh at this. Thousands of Tesla owners are doxxed, and they're claiming the only way you can get off the list is to sell your car. Now, if you don't know, doxing is an internet term meaning that they're stealing your information and they're posting it online. Now, the funny thing is, many places, this isn't illegal. For example, in Maine, doxing is not expressly against the law. So, somebody else's personal information online, there's no laws against it yet. Nobody wants their information out there. But, of course, now people are shaming the Tesla drivers. Go back 6 years ago. Oh, the Tesla drivers are going to save us all with their electric cars. Now they're shaming them. They're shaming them because they don't like Elon. They think he's a right-wing lunatic. So now they're putting out these lists online of all the people who own the Teslas to shame them. And they say, really, they're only taking off if you sell your Tesla, right? You're going to lose your shirt if you do because the price of Teslas used is dropping like a stone because nobody wants them now for various reasons. I mean, do you really want to buy a used electric car that has a battery that can cost $20,000 to replace? I don't think so. You buy a regular used car, oh, the battery's bad. Yeah, they rip you off at the auto parts stores, and maybe the battery will be $240, but then you can go to places like I do, like Rural King, get the same battery for $80 or even $59 if you got a smaller car, right? But you can't go to places like that to get the Tesla battery, so, more and more expenses. It looks like they're having the perfect storm coming down on Tesla. The stock is starting to and people are shaming the people who own them because of their affiliation with Musk. Well, jerking their knees in the opposite direction. They used to love him, now they hate him. There's no accounting for what people believe in, what they think is true one way or another. And now they're doxing, they're shaming. So maybe another reason not to buy one of the stupid things. Well, I've always warned people, don't go out and buy a used BMW. Sure, you can get them cheap, but they cost a fortune to fix. Well, a V12 BMW 7 Series fuel pump is now more expensive than the entire car. Guy was selling the 2009 BMW 760 V12. They're asking $15,000 for it. I just looked up, and the fuel pump for that car is $14,874.90. And that's online. It's probably even more at the BMW dealer, right? I'm not making this up. Almost $15,000 just for the fuel pump. Isn't that big either, huh? That's how BMWs are. Their parts cost a fortune. They're very expensive cars to maintain. I get more people saying, Scotty, I can get a great deal on a BMW. And I just say to them, well, the price may be right for the car, but wait till you start fixing it. I had a customer in Houston that he bought a twin turbo V6 from his brother. He spent about $68,000 for this convertible with twin turbo 6-cylinder engine. And he ended up buying a thing for like $17,000 from his brother used. And he thought, oh, what a deal, what a deal. Then he brings it into me, says, what's wrong? I said, well, your twin turbos are going out. Turbo's built into the manifold, and it's going to cost you about $18,000 to do the job. Needless to say, he sold the car soon after. So don't think you're getting a deal buying a used BMW. Well, it looks like California's HOV access for electric vehicle drivers could disappear this year. If you didn't know it, they had a rule where you could drive your electric car on a high occupancy vehicle lane when there's only one person in it, which of course doesn't make any sense, right? The whole thing is supposed to be you're sharing with other people, not just one person. It wasn't fair to everyone else just because somebody had an electric vehicle. The Clean Air Vehicle Act ends up expiring on September 30th of this year, and it could be The end. And of course, it's just another ruse to get people to buy electric cars. Now, this is a federal statute that allows Californians to extend HOV lane access to single occupancy vehicles. Now, of course, the California legislatures, they want to extend it, but the lawmakers in Washington aren't saying that they're going to do it. They're thinking of any excuse to get people to buy these electric cars, right? I mean, it's getting to be ridiculous. Well, they're special. They have an electric car, right? Oh, well, they get to go on the HOV lane where other people don't. Hey, things are definitely changing the electric car market. Maybe that'll be another reason that people won't buy them. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.